Hey folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of the Articulate Fly, and we're back with the first Southwest Virginia Fishing Report of the year with Matt Reilly. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Just holed up in my basement, running away from the weather.
Yeah, I think you're going to have a pretty cruel January in Southwest Virginia.
That's the way it's looking. That's the way it's been so far. Been out a couple times in the last couple of days where we've had a, window of, not 40-mile-an-hour winds and highs 5 degrees below freezing. But those are definitely the exception to the rule for the next 10 days or so.
Yeah, so no real fishing stories, but it's kind of funny because, kind of coming through the other side of the holidays and kind of depending on where you are in the country, winter can be more cruel in other places than others. But Josh Fleener is obviously anticipating pre-spawn smallmouth action, and he's probably sitting in his vise, and he wanted to get your thoughts on your favorite pre-spawn patterns and color combinations.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm doing too. Just trying to get everything knocked out while I've got time. Because we'll be smallmouth fishing. It's hard to believe right now, but maybe another month and a half. Depending on how the winter goes. I mean, it's definitely seeming like it's a colder winter, maybe slower spring than it's been the last couple of years. But I know Josh ties a pile of swim flies. So I'll kind of keep it to the, mid-column streamer realm in terms of color combinations. I take a lot of my inspiration for color combos from the conventional world, the kind of stuff that I like in a jerk bait or a spinner bait or something like that. To just get some, diversity of interesting colors. And then, you always have to think about water conditions too. So you've got to have stuff for clear water, dirty water, cold water, warmer water. One thing white's a given. White's a great color. White and chartreuse, I always have stock too. And then just for some like real clear water, some different variations on white. I do a lot of like white and gray, white and tan, that kind of stuff. But one color that I've always liked in pre-spawn streamer flies is orange. If you look at my jerkbait box, there's a couple different colors. Scoop is one of my favorite, like X-Wrap colors. It's like a purple back, gray, mid flank, and an orange belly. I don't know why. I've just always done well in that color. And then anything else that's like in that tan orange realm. You'll hear people talk too about fishing cold water smallmouth, and there being a time frame in the early spring, late winter where like hot oranges and yellows are good. And I've caught a lot of fish on those colors. I'm not sure why necessarily that might be, other than the fact that most fish, when they get, pre-spawn or some fish that don't spawn on nests or maintain nests, when they are actively spawning, they just get really sort of hormonal and aggressive. And so those bright colors like chartreuse and yellow and orange tend to be good producers. So I've always got some in that realm in my box. And then in terms of, water clarity, I kind of already mentioned some whites and tans, whites and grays are all good. Chartreuses for some dirtier, kind of more green, dark green water. And then, always have some darker color patterns too, like black and blues and black and purples and stuff like that. That's pretty much been my formula. It's not too technical or anything groundbreaking, I don't think, but that's pretty much where I live.
Yeah, got it. And any kind of, particular forage you're imitating? I mean, obviously those like bright reaction strikes, not really a forage choice, but is it really just kind of like, small chubs and suckers and things like that? Is that kind of what you're trying to imitate on the fly side?
Yeah, I mean gear too. But I will say, because I fish both pretty actively, particularly through the late winter pre-spawn time frame. I'll fish a lot more bottom with conventional gear, and it's not to say I don't with fly gear, but it's just it's way easier to achieve a really good bottom crawling presentation with spinning gear than it is with fly gear. It's also way more fun to fish swim flies, streamers with a fly rod as opposed to dredging. So if you're an equal opportunist and you'll use both, like I'm gonna go to the fly rod when I want to fish mid column and move a fly. And pre-spawn, there's 2 times a year when, well, there's probably more than 2, but 2 big times a year that come to mind when smallmouth are really driven to feed heavily by instinct more so than metabolism. And the pre-spawn is definitely one of those time frames, because we could be fishing water, basically between high 30s, low 40s, all the way up to 60 degrees. They're not burning calories like crazy. They have to eat a lot to build up egg masses and just caloric reserves for the males that aren't going to eat for a while when they're guarding nests. And the water temperature is cold enough that they're able to chase big prey without burning too many calories. So, frankly, I don't want to say the bigger the better, but I tend to go pretty big in the springtime just because they're looking for big meals. I can't tell you how many like 6 and 7 inch chubs and stone rollers and mad toms and stuff I've pulled out of like 16, 17 inch smallmouth in March and April, just because they're just trying to bulk up. So that's pretty much what I'm going for on the fly front is, and obviously size, you can and should probably take some cues from water level and clarity and flow. If we have a really low clear water spring, you probably need to dial it back from 6 and 7 inch flies. Conversely, if it's really high and you're fishing a 2 inch, like late summer baitfish pattern, is probably not going to be the best tool. But yeah, for the most part, I'm trying to imitate large baitfish. And then on the bottom, big crayfish flies and basically anything kind of creaturey that you can bounce around and present a big meal without getting hung up too much.
Got it. And, we love questions on the articulate fly. You can email them to us or DM us on social media, whatever's easiest for you. And if we use your question, I will send you some articulate fly swag. And we're in a drawing for some cool stuff at the end of the 2025 season, which obviously brings us to the drawing for the 2024 season. And as I always do, I take the names of everyone who submitted a question and put them in the Google random number generator and pull one out of the hat. But before I announce the name, you want to announce what the winner's going to win?
Yeah, I'm going to pretty much do what I always have done. I'll put together a little fly box of some of my favorite and best producing smallmouth flies for the whole season, basically, as well as a bunch of stickers and rod company stuff as well.
Well, there you go. Well, the lucky winner is one of the articulate fly frequent flyers, Brenner Johnson. So, Brenner, congratulations. I suspect you will find me before I find you, but we'll get you hooked up with Matt and get you your goodies.
Yeah, man. Sounds good.
Yeah. And so, while you're at home getting super prepared for pre-spawn, why don't you let folks know kind of, what you're booking, how to reach out and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, man. Pretty much booking everything right now. I'm taking care of for the rest of muskie season, especially with all the days I've had to push here recently. But I've pushed a couple muskie days to next season, October, November. So if that's something you're interested in, at least reach out and we start talking about when to fit you in over the course of that, 5-month season. And pre-spawn stuff, March and April is getting booked pretty solidly, but there's some days left. So if that's your jam, streamer fishing, looking for the biggest, heaviest smallmouth of the year, that's probably your program. And then I've got some summer days still left in the prime top water, like mid-July into early October window. So those are always go pretty quick too. I mean, I don't have a ton left pretty much anywhere, but still got some spring striper stuff open. Yeah, like I said, booking just about everything. So if you're interested in any of that, just give me a shout and we'll at least talk.
Yeah, there you go. And, I want to, first of all, I want to wish everyone a happy new year and encourage you when it thaws out a little bit to get out on the water. But if you can't do that, spend a little bit of time at the Vice, or maybe if you're lucky enough to have a fly fishing show near where you live, go check one of those out. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Matt.
Hey, thanks, Marvin.